Edit this part out.
Hey guys, it's Julie and Josh, and we're here with Kat. She is a black-mouthed cur. She's one of our dogs in training right now. One of the things that we did with her is crate training while she was here. Her owners did not have success doing it on their own. She would cry, she wouldn't go in, and so we crate trained her here with the expectation that she'll continue that going home. And we're just going to show you a couple tips on how to get your dog in a crate if they don't want to go in, what to do once they're inside, how to bring them out safely, and some other tips on battling barking in the crate when you're leaving the house, and some things to do on this topic. So you want to show us?
Yeah. So, as you guys know, we're all about rules. So, first thing we start with is introducing the dog to a couple rules about the kennel. And rule number one is you can't rush in and you can't rush out. So, to get our dog in, we utilize a sit generally, or just ask the dog not to rush in the kennel. And how we do that is we'll bring the dog up to the kennel. She's already here. Good job, Kat. And either put her in a sit or down is generally my choice. And I'd open the kennel. If she tries to get in, no. Create a little bit of a distinction between my command, which is kennel, and her going in, right? She has to understand that she can't just go in without me saying, because this will translate to all doors in your life. Let's transfer to the front door, to the car door, etc. So when she sees the threshold, ideally what I want to see is a pause and wait for my command. Good girl. Kennel. Now she goes in. Good girl. On the other hand, when she's in here and it's time to come back out, the same rule applies. So if I go to open this door and she's rambunctious, which she's not right now, and she's going to think about bolting out before I say, I'm simply going to open it, and as soon as she starts to get out, shut it firmly. And I'll repeat that until I can open it and I have this pause like we're talking about before. And then I can offer her out with my command. Break. Good girl. Good job.
That makes so much sense to me. And it really is asking for a moment of permission and respect. You don't rush in and you don't rush out, and you wait for me to tell you. And that will help your overall relationship with your dog in every other aspect.
Yes, and there's more tricks too. So dogs who have issues in the kennel, meaning they might protest being in there, whine, bark, dig at the padding, try to open the doors. Kat was one of them. We have more rules for these types of dogs. So a rule for her when she's in her kennel is you have to be in there, you have to be quiet, and you have to be laying down as well. So we'll enforce a down for a while with the e-collar until she learns that that's a default pattern, until she's doing it on her own consistently. So what that looks like is when I put her in the kennel, same things apply here. Cat, kennel, good girl. When I have her in there, I would take off everything except my e-collar. Let's pretend I got that prong collar off. And then I would ask for it down. And the reason I have the e-collar on is because she's in the kennel, and dogs are smart enough to know that you can't get to them for a correction. So they might just knock down for you. We have the e-collar, luckily, so we can enforce it. Cat, down. Good. Now I didn't have to use the e-collar, but it's there if I did. And now I'm going to expect that she stays in a down stay. And when we're first practicing this, it's not when we're going to leave the house and go to work and just cross our fingers to say, I hope she does well in the kennel. It's going to be while we're home. That's the important part. Well, we have a couple hours to work on it at home. And you'll see all the fireworks and all the shenanigans while you're home, because your dog knows you're home and they want to be out with you. So you're going to put your dog in the kennel, get a bait under ideally. That's what we do. And then we go upstairs. And any time she gets out of her down stay, we're gonna correct her on the e-collar and put her back into a down. And what that does is that keeps her from trying to get into this cycle of anxiety where she starts to build and build and build. It'll start with a whine, and then it might go to a bark, and then it'll go to pacing, right? And then it'll go to teeth on the kennel. So by just correcting her for getting out of a down, we keep her calm and we keep her relaxed, okay? So that's one tip. One thing we do around here very often to eliminate any shenanigans in the kennel.
I can't stress how important enough it is for your dog to be able to be calm in a crate when you're home. There's gonna be times where maintenance people need to come in the house. You have a large party or gathering and it's just not based in reality to have a dog wandering around the house.
Yeah.
So your dog needs to be able to be in a crate and be calm when you're home. The way to practice this is to role play it before these events happen. So practice going in, going out, having her lay down, go take a shower, watch her, listen for her. And the what you should expect out of her is quiet, down, and calm. Okay? This is so important. I can't stress that enough. Even if your dog is not destructive and your dog is housebroken, they still need to have crate manners.
And here's a good reason why. It's great to have good crate manners, as we know, because we board dogs and we know the difference between a dog who has them and who doesn't. It also creates a respectful view of the house and the humans in it. So it can really give your dog kind of an attitude adjustment, if you will. If your dog's very entitled and spoiled and kind of bratty, if you start doing this stuff and expecting them to spend more time in the kennel without complaining, and you correct things like whining and barking and pacing around, your dog's going to be more respectful in all aspects of his life. So we utilize the kennel to kind of like, not only is it good management, it's good safety, it's good to keep our dogs in line, right? So if my dog starts to be a little bit of a brat and not listen for a couple days in a row, that's when I add in more structure in his life for a few days, and it cleans up all of that nonsense. And structure looks like this: more kennel time and more place time, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about what happens if our dog's whining when we're not home. What can we do?
All right, so let's say you live in an apartment, your neighbors have started to complain, your dog is barking the entire time you're gone, it's driving us crazy, we're gonna complain, or your next door neighbors are saying your dogs have been barking for 4 hours straight.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of dogs like that.
What do
as a
you
child.
do? What do you do? So,
I got it.
all right,
This bad boy right here, I'll bring it a little closer to the camera here. What we use, you guys see this right here? We use a Garmin Bark Limiter bark collar, and we use it on the auto setting to condition all dogs. And what this bad boy does is it does your work for you. It has the auto setting will condition your dog to the collar, so it gives your dog a fair shake. It teaches your dog about the consequence, if you will. So this is a bark collar from Garmin that we use with every whiny, barky dog that comes into our kennel room, and it works great. You simply put the collar on, follow instructions, of course. It goes right over the trachea, have it on the auto setting, and this bad boy will do the rest if you have it fit right. It'll correct whining as well as what do they call it? Nuisance barking.
yeah. We've recommended this to a couple of clients, and every single person has come back with positive reviews. One of them was an apartment dog where they were about to be evicted because your dog cannot bark when you're at work. And I just want to stress to everyone, there is no other way to get a dog to stop barking when you're not there other than a bark collar. There is no other magic way. There is no magic wand. It has to be a bark collar, okay? There is no magic way to get your dog to stop barking if you're not there to stop it.
That's right. And there are other techniques that you might try. Somebody might tell you to put a bone in there or put something else, which I'm not opposed to, but the thing is you have to, that's given your dog something else to do, but if they get bored of that, which they inevitably will, they'll start whining, they'll start barking anyway. So maybe experiment with both. Use the bark collar and put in maybe a Kong with some peanut butter. So then you have the best of both worlds. The dog gets corrected for its whining, gets corrected for the nonsense, and when it calms down, it has something to do to keep it occupied, if you're concerned about that. But we don't do any of that. We don't put Kongs in our kennels, we don't put bones in our kennels. We just expect dogs to go in there and be quiet and wait for us.
Part of their training.
And that's because that's what we do. We train them to be calm and polite in the kennels. So.
Now, what are some tips for owners to successfully be able to leave their house with their dog in a crate and not leave while the dog is barking and going crazy?
Yeah, that's a good point. What a lot of people do is that they're rushing to work because our lives are hectic. Maybe we're running late with the kids and work, and then so it's time to go quick. Somebody grab the dog, put it in the kennel. The dog doesn't want to go in the kennel, so it's a bit of a fuss. You throw it in there, you close the door, I love you, bye. And the dog's in a state of arousal when you leave the house, or in a state of anxiety when you leave the house, and then that's when the destruction happens. That's when the dog's going to redirect all that energy to the crate and destroy it. Destroy bedding, toys, whatever you have in there.
Harm themselves too.
They definitely hurt themselves. They make their gums bleed. I've seen a dog back in my early days damage their teeth on these bars trying to get out. So the idea is to start to condition relaxation before you even leave the house. And how we do that is we correct the nonsense. So if your dog's in there and it's whining, one thing you want to be careful about is trying to find an excuse for the whine. That's a big one. Well, he's just sad because he doesn't want to be in there. Well, you're not helping your dog in that manner. What you want to do is, we're going to correct anything but calmness. If you can remember that. You're going to literally correct anything but a calm down stay. Right? Dog standing up? No. Dog sitting up? No. Dog's peering out the gate? No. Whining? No. Barking? No. Scratching? No. All this gets corrected, and all that's left, and I know this for a fact because I've done it a lot, but I've also done it with a dog who's right in front of us. She would do all of those things. They've all been corrected. The only thing that hasn't been corrected is a calm down stay, and that's what we're getting from her now. So the idea isn't trying to see your dog whining and then trying to find out why it's whining. Like maybe it's hungry and then trying to compensate and give it food or treats. The idea is just to correct and expect, right? That's what I always tell myself. I'm going to correct to let you know what I don't want, and then I'm just going to expect that you do so. Okay, so use the rule, down and calm. Okay? Anything other than that, the owner should come in the room, no, correct, put them back in that calm down state. Once your dog is like this, much more reliable to leave the house.
And she's happier
Yeah,
and calm
you snapped her out of this.
and relaxed, and she's not frantic. And like I said, if you guys are just starting this, don't wait until you're about to leave for work. Start doing this periods of time when you're home, and then start doing it, putting them in a half hour before you leave for work. So you can work on all this before you walk out the door. That's been a huge game changer.
Yeah, and if you have a puppy, meaning my version of a puppy is like 6 months and less, you know, a real puppy, a dog who can't hold it your whole shift, you're gonna have to hire somebody to come, or maybe have a friend or somebody to come halfway through the day to let your dog out to use the bathroom, and it's right back into the kennel.
Yeah.
So get them started young on this stuff.
Let's see how she does with me. So I'm gonna approach the kennel. I'm not gonna baby talk her. Be nice and calm. Put your tools on while your dog's in the crate. Honey. Just because the leash is on doesn't mean she can bolt out, okay? Can you see how this is a safety issue? If you are in front of your dog's crate and you just open the door and your dog starts to bolt out, it could easily knock me or you over. That's not very polite. We want to encourage polite and calm behavior, okay? Let's go.